updating for day 97 and 98. If you probably could have guessed based on the last video I posted, wasn't feeling too well, and well, it didn't get any better in that day, so I ended up having to leave work early because I was just not feeling it at all. It was, I don't know what it was, but it was not feeling very good at all. So ended up taking the rest of the day off. Just pretty much went home and just slept for the rest of the day because I was just not, just 100% out of it. Yesterday I was no better, which wasn't great, but towards the end of the day I started to feel sort of myself again. This morning I've woken up, got a bit of a sniffle, but I don't think that's anything to worry about. I think it's just a bit more hay fever. As far as energy wise and everything, I feel like myself again. I feel like I've got my energy back. I feel like I'm ready to face the day again, which I just was not the last couple of days. So good to be feeling back to normal. Thankfully for day 97, I'd already done my half an hour to an hour in the morning. I'd gotten that finished. I was working on the pencils for page 15. And then yesterday, thankfully, I was just starting to feel a bit better in the afternoon. So well enough that I was able to sort of just hop on the computer and just do a bit of light work. So I just was working on page 11, getting that ready to upload to Patreon. So just had to do the grey tones and the lettering, so nothing too arduous. So I managed to knock that out, and then we had dinner and was feeling a lot better. So by the end of the night, almost to the point where I am now. So I don't know what it was. It was definitely a sort of weird 24-hour-ish thing. I know, like, whatever it was, I had like mad congestion and sort of cold, like head cold symptoms mixed with like I had a nasty migraine pretty much that whole time as well. So I think once that migraine subsided, everything else sort of lifted as well. It was really weird, but whatever it is, I'm glad it's hopefully gone. The downside is I think whatever I had, Jazz might have it. I know her mum got sick as well, so yesterday, because she was going to see her mum yesterday, and so hopefully whatever Jazz has, it's not too bad. I was meant to go out tonight with Lee to do some monkey junk work, but depending on how Jazz feels, I might have to pass on that, which might not be a bad thing, because then if I just look after them, get April down to bed, and Jazz can go rest, and then I can just work on monkey junk anyway. But yeah, if they're not feeling too well, I'm not going to go out, which would be a shame, but I'm not going to bail on her. She's been looking after me while I've been home. So yeah, that was pretty much it. I really didn't do a whole lot for the duration of me being sick. Watched just pretty much just watched TV and a movie or a couple of movies with Jazz, and nothing exciting at all. So not really a lot to report for these 2 days, but I did still manage to get time in, which I'm very thankful for. So of course, this being the last week of the 100 days challenge, was going to present some extra challenges just to make it a little bit more difficult. So whatever, nearly done. 2 more days left. So tomorrow's day 99, which makes Thursday, no, sorry, technically, today's day 99, trouble updating tomorrow, and tomorrow is a day 100. So I don't know what quite happened, but I was looking at my calendar, or Jazz was looking at the calendar, and she was it's like, oh, today's your day 100. I'm like, no, it shouldn't be. And I'd done my math wrong when I was actually trying to figure out my days, so I was actually 2 days ahead of myself. So either my videos, I've missed 2 days, or I've added 2 days, whatever I've done, it doesn't matter. So tomorrow will be my 100th day, and this challenge will be over, but it has got me thinking about what my plan is next. I know I have a tentative plan to make sure that I do my 30 minutes every day, maybe a weekly vlog to sort of continue on with this. whether I do it in challenge format and then just do a weekly vlog to represent that, possibly, or I still want to do the comic making hacks videos, just trying to figure that out. So with the move coming, the move is sort of taking precedent in my mind of what we're going to do and how things are going to work, etc, etc. So I'm trying to try not to think too heavily about my YouTube stuff, but also just keep it in the frame, just in the edge of my mind. And I think it's more about not what I want to do, but how I'm going to do it and how I'm going to create that time to do it. So maybe with this new studio being a little bit further away, there's a little bit more privacy, and you know, it won't be as loud while I'm in there. Like, so if I'm doing videos in the morning, that's not going to resonate through the house. I'll be able to do proper videos while everyone else is asleep. That could be something that I do. I don't know. I'll just have to wait and figure it out and see how that all works out. Anyway, I'll leave you guys alone. Thanks for listening to my boring update. Hope you're all doing well. Most people now have finished the challenge. I know there's still a few people doing it. Jan is still on his challenge, and Jeff Lafferty has just started his challenge. So please go check both of them out. Just search for Jan. I don't know how to pronounce Jan's last name, but if you look under like the 100s and Jan, you should find him. He's done quite a few 100-day challenges now. And Jeff Lafferty, well, he's pretty popular on YouTube, so you shouldn't have any trouble finding him at all. Anyway, I'll leave you guys alone. Check them out. Don't forget, if you haven't already, check out Monkey Junk on Webtoons or Tapas. All you need to do is download the apps, and you can just search for Monkey Junk and you'll be able to find the comic there. Alternatively, you can support me on Patreon, and you can find it on my Patreon for as little as $1 a month, and you'll be far ahead on the comic book compared to anyone who reads it on Webtoons or Tapas. So thus is the advantage of supporting me, is you get everything much earlier. I think that's all I need to plug. And don't forget, I'll try and remember to put a link in below. You can download the free Monkey Junk sketchbook from Gumtree as well. I said Gumroad, not Gumtree. Gumroad. I always get those two confused. If you're on Webtoons, you'll find the link on there as well for it. But yeah, that's free for you guys to download and enjoy. You know, if you don't want to pay for anything, you just want free stuff because you can't afford it, or you know what, you just don't know whether you want to pay for it yet. You haven't decided. So, you know, there you go. Alright, that's my little plugs. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye. What's up, guys? Welcome to day 99. So 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge. Technically, today, days-wise, this is day 100, but of course I'm updating for yesterday. But the excitement is there. This is my last day. Tomorrow will be my last video of this series. It's been great. I feel like everything's sort of come full circle within these 100 days, and I will elaborate shortly. But just, you know, getting close to the end, sort of reflecting back on everything. It's been quite an interesting 100 days, or 3+ months of working solidly on my comic. Pretty proud of what I've achieved. I've almost successfully finished the first chapter of Monkey Junk, only 5 pages away, which is fantastic. So I've completed, well, hopefully by tonight or so tomorrow morning I'll have completed 15 pages, which means I've got 5 pages left of chapter 1, which means once that's done it will then go to print, which I'm very happy about. I can say that even though I still have my doubts about some of the pages now, looking backwards, which doesn't really matter what art I do, I think that's always going to happen with me. That's just the kind of person I am, the kind of artist I am, where I'll finish something to completion where I'm really happy with it, and then look back at it and go, oh, I probably could have done that better, I probably could have done this better, but try not to wallow too much in it and go, well, this is progression, I'm getting better, I'm noticing these things. But as a whole, everything that I've created within this time frame, I'm really happy with. This is probably surely one of the best comics that I've created thus far, artistically, story-wise, with the help of Lee. Everything's really come together quite nicely, and I'm at a stage where, I mean, like, I'm one chapter down nearly, and I'm not bored. I'm still excited, and I think I owe a lot of that as well to not only doing the 100 days of sort of continuing my drive to want to do it, or having to do it for 30 minutes a day, but also working with Lee, having someone to bounce off and actually gauge ideas and suggestions, and someone there to help solidify certain things where I'm a bit unsure, or someone who and vice versa, where he's a bit unsure, and we can get together and put together something really well thought out, rather than sort of a single frame of mind, etc. I think we make a pretty good team. So as for what work I did last night, as I think I've mentioned, I went out with Lee. We went out and went out to get burgers, as we do on the odd occasion, purely for the idea that we will be working on Monkey Junk and discussing Monkey Junk, and but also at the same time just catching up and seeing how we're doing. It was really good. We went to this really cool burger joint. It's probably maybe like a 25-minute drive out. But it was nice to go somewhere different, away, had a good chat in the car. There was this place called Meat Patties, and yeah, good burgers, good food, good chips, got like this loaded fries things with like sour cream and jalapenos, and yeah, that was pretty boss. Would definitely go there again if I was in the area. I wouldn't go out of my way to go there though, like not life-changing, but they were good. They were good for what they were. So anyway, while we're there, we discussed Monkey Junk, so what the future is. One of those things that we did talk about was sort of the future leading into chapter 2. I was saying to Lee, like, before we actually start chapter 2, I'd like to actually finish the script of chapter 2 rather than the way we ran it this time around, where we've sort of been having to write it as we're going. And that's just been sort of the situation we've been in, where we written down a very comprehensive I can't remember the name of the document that we did, but it was essentially a breakdown of everything that happens within the first chapter, and a little bit further in we knew exactly what we wanted to do and what we wanted to achieve, and it was just a matter of putting that into a script format, and figuring out a panel layouts and things like that. So it wasn't that hard. It was more a matter of we hadn't quite finished the first script, and I'd started the 100 days going, well, this is what I want to do. I want to start Monkey Junk, and I want to start it now. And because of that action, it sort of thrust us into it. Who knows? We might have gotten so sidetracked that we may not have finished writing chapter 1 at this stage, had we, just continued on doing what we were doing. So in a way, it was good. Sort of just diving right in. But I said to him, chapter 2, let's finish that. Let's approach it properly. That way we can lay it out, make sure everything works, make sure it's a good comic as a whole. And I still think this one's going to be a good comic as a whole as well. But we can look at chapter 2 as an actual book, how it's going to be published as a book, and maybe we can actually look at doing some proper double page spreads and things like that, where we were very restricted in this time around because we wanted to do a double page spread for the end, but because of the way it's set up, we don't know if it'll work or not. So we're just having to figure out other solutions, and we've figured out like a really good solution for what we originally wanted to do. So yeah, we looking at the timeline, we're like, okay, well, once we finish chapter 1, we'll probably take a small break in between. And when we say break, that'll still be me working on actually putting the book together and ready for print. so we can then potentially run a Kickstarter to get the book funded. Ideally, we'd like to, if we could fund it ourselves and just sell it that way, we probably would. Kickstarter sort of grants an extra audience, and hopefully that'll sort of culminate between all the different avenues that we have between Patreon, Webtoons, Instagram, Kickstarter, physical, buying it in store, etc., etc. Hopefully that all culminates into sort of a following. So taking that break will just mean sort of additional work for me to put the book together, but while I'm doing that, Piper can work on writing chapter 2 and getting that fleshed out and finished, and I can work alongside with him as well. I still have things that I need to put together for the book, just a few little extras that we've been discussing for a while, that we want to, just sort of Easter eggs that'll be thrown into the comic book to make it feel more like a comic book. But yes, that's probably what's going to happen. So in the next, let's assume that it takes me a week to finish each page. In the next 5 weeks, and then I will take a break. At that stage, Webtoons and that will only be up to page 10 thereabouts, which, there's a 10 weeks where they're still getting content. Even on Patreon, I think they're only up to page 11. I think page 11 went up on Tuesday, which means they're still, if I finish page 15 tonight, which I hope for, that means they're still 4 pages behind my backlog is, I'm 4 pages ahead, really. So even if we take that lull, it'll be almost seamless. We can just take a 2-week lull and jump back into it. And I think that's a good jumping on point too, where we can actually advertise it and say, chapter 1's finished, check it out on Webtoons before chapter 2 begins on X date. I think that's probably a better way to work it. Rather than sort of work ourselves to the bone as well. Like, we don't want to be just hammering ourselves the whole way through. I think it'd be good to take a little break and focus on other things within the project, or even just take a few days off as well. Ideally, we were talking about sort of time frame. Ideally, we'd like to get, like, I would prefer to get like 4 issues out a year, so a quarterly comic. In reality, that would account to 1.5 pages a week. Now I work full time and everything. And doing this 100 days was sort of the me gearing up to achieve that goal of doing comics every day. But I don't know if I'll be able to do a 1.5 pages a week consistently. There will always be roadblocks. So potentially 3 chapters, but we can easily do 2 chapters a year. And then as time goes on, we can reevaluate that and just sort of see where we go, where we stand. As long as we're producing, I mean, I'll be fairly happy. As long as we can still get like a page a week up on, say, Webtoons, for example, that would be wicked. Just keep some consistency there. So that was one of the main things we discussed. We also talked about a new character that's coming up. Not really a big character, but a character that is going to pop up throughout the comic. So we just trying to, it was sort of an accident too, because we're talking about, okay, well, this guy's coming up, what's he going to look like? And Lee knows that I want to start putting in a few more animal style characters, whether they're actual animals or a bit more anthropomorphic, kind of like Chris, or having just a mixture of that mixed into the world of Monkey Junk within Future City. It was like, well, okay, this is the perfect opportunity to introduce that, maybe before Chris comes in. So we've got a cool little character coming up. I'm really happy with how he looks. Well, we sketched him out pretty quickly last night, but I'm really happy with how he looks. And then just discussed a few other things. I'm not going to say too much, I don't want to spoil it all. But locking in that we're going to take that little break, get chapter 2 solid, and while I'm working on chapter 2, then he can work on chapter 3. He can take a bit more time with it as well. Again, chapter 2 is sort of an extension of chapter 1 in that we already know what's going to happen, so we can hopefully bust that out quite easily, and then I can just work my magic from there. Chapter 3 onwards really sort of where Lee really gets to sort of take a lot more control, because from that point onwards there was no real story written. A lot of what we're doing is based off what I'd already written for the original the original rendition of Monkey Junk, and he's just helped extended it and make, you know, help the book flow a lot more, you know, a bit more character development and things like that. So I'm happy he's on board, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table after the fact. Should be a lot of fun. So, all right, I'll leave it there. That's day 99 done. So yeah, I should also mention I did wake up a bit early this morning, got some inking done, so I'm nearly a panel down on page 15. Hopefully a little bit of work tonight. I've got to do some, got to go out shopping. I've got to do a couple of errands this evening, so hopefully I can manage some extra time. Otherwise I'll be up early tomorrow morning to work on it. Hopefully try and finish it before we move this weekend. That would be really cool. All right, and then yeah, that'll be tomorrow's update, hopefully. So been 100, day 100, then it's all over, and then I need to figure out everything else. So big truck next to me. Not that matters. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.